Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. My name is Ben Dobbs. Currently live in Nashville, Tennessee. And what I do for a living is I'm a CEO and founder of a outpatient facility for mental health and substance abuse services.
Awesome. So how did you get the idea to start this business?
True story. So I went through my own situation and recovery, battled addiction, depression, anxiety for close to about 15 years to 19 years. When I went through my program, started rehabilitate, started to transform and heal, I found out that in that process that my greatest pain would eventually turn into my greatest purpose. So kind of wrote down, this was in 2011, what it would look like if I had my own place of refuge for healing for people and, struggling with mental health and substance abuse. So got into the industry in 2011 at an entry-level position. Took a lot of chances, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of leaps of faith, and trying to climb up the ladder, working long days at several places just to get the double experience. Pursued education on everything in social services to psychology and clinical counseling and also theology, and just found out this is what I wanted to do. I knew that by owning and operating a facility, I could navigate the teams and the cultures in a better positive outcome that I was around, and then also do better services for the clients and really, really see better outcomes. So we drew this up, me personally in 2011, but started working towards that goal in 2016. And in May of last year is when I decided this was going to be it. We're going to do it up in Tennessee. I'm originally from Florida. And, met my investors, and then here we are today. We just opened up 3 weeks ago.
Awesome. That's exciting. So
Yeah.
I guess in terms of the facility, obviously that you guys just opened, but what kind of patients are you looking to serve, and how would people get the most value from being at the facility?
So we look for those that are struggling with any mental health disorders. It could be anywhere from depression, anxiety, bipolar, borderline personality, gambling addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction. Really, it's called a baseline of process addictions. So, committing a behavior without evaluating the negative consequence, right? So, and then we also handle any substance abuse, whether it's from struggling with addiction from crystal meth, marijuana, Xanax, opioids, heroin, fentanyl, alcohol. So we cover the whole gamut of whatever addiction is, even down to marijuana. So that's the majority of clients that we serve. And your second part of that question was what could they receive out of this?
Yeah, what does it look like? Does somebody stay there and live at the facility for a while? Do they just come there? How does it actually look like if, once somebody becomes, I guess, a client of the facility?
Yeah, so we're an outpatient basis. So the majority of our clients have two options. They can live from home in what we call a commuter. They can come in and every day for our services, which is we have a daytime program from 9:30 to 12:30. Some people stay in what is our partial hospitalization program, and they would stay for lunch and then do some afternoon groups. Some people just come for those morning 3-hour blocks, which is our intensive outpatient. And then in the evening, we have a program from Monday through Thursday for those that work a daytime job, and they can come in from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And so the majority of the times they can either live from home and commute in, or we could supply transportation, or they live in the sober livings that we work with in the community.
Awesome. So somebody will come in, and I guess so they might come in. Is it more like group classes or one-on-one, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so we do all those hours, those blocks from 9:30 to 12:30, and then the 1 to 3 and the 6 to 9. Those are all group counseling. So we always cover a core-based topic, whether it's core belief systems, family dynamics, relapse prevention, guilt and shame, and trauma resolution as well, trauma informed. We cover all those topics on a daily basis, and we approach it as identifying the problem, looking at the root core belief system behind that, and then moving them in the direction of the solution. So that's our group counseling. We do specialize here in giving 2 individuals per week. So they have a primary therapist that is on site. And then we have some specialty therapists that really focus on either emotional regulation or emotional dysregulation, and then also mental health processes. And then we have a trauma-informed individual therapist that we use as well. They also would see a medical team where they get medication management and those type of things, receive a whole history and physical and a psych evaluation.
For sure. So obviously that you guys are a new business. So how have you gotten about getting people in the door? Is it more like partnerships with other companies or running ads, or like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so generically, I mean, the general purpose is running from a SEO, digital. So we launched our website close to 6 months ago. So when we open our doors, we would kind of receive that call volume. And simultaneously, we also have people, including myself, that go out into the community, and whether it's community relations, partnerships with other facilities, really also some organic grassroots. We did something different than most facilities, which or organizations that work in this field. We actually hired a PR firm. So with that PR firm, it's putting us on the news stations, podcasts as well, and then also some in meet and greets in the public, sponsoring some 5Ks and stuff like that. So you really want to cover everything. And the big thing is exposure and awareness.
For sure. So like how have you gotten, for example, being on these different shows to convert? Like you have people that call in and say, "Hey, I saw you on the show. Can you help me out?" Like what does that look like?
So we measure it. That's up in our admissions team. We always ask after we get the conceptualization or the kind of synopsis of the case that we're facing, if we can help them or not. Usually we ask them as the last question, because what's more important to us is not how they found us, but where they're at, right? So how can we treat them? How can we serve them? And then we usually ask, how did you find us? And that's how we run our data and key metrics and key performance indicators on what platform or outlet of marketing is actually producing the most. And maybe we scale back in some other areas as well. So
For sure. So in terms of, how you work with people, like do you do it through insurance or like are you all like out of pocket? What does that look like?
So yes, we're insurance based. We do accept cash pays, and then we also offer a sliding scale pay rate. Maybe someone wants to make a monthly payment and stuff like that. And then we also do offer scholarships. There's sometimes people, if they're willing and motivated and they would be a fit in our milieu of our community, of our current clients, and also fit well with our team here, and we know we can help them and we have the availability to do so, then we would scholarship people as well.
That's awesome. So what would you say is your biggest challenge in the business right now?
I would say it's we have the ups and downs in this industry where your digital could be on point and your phones are blowing up, and then we have what is called like the industry standard normals of lows, and that's going to be right before the school semester starts in like around July, August, September, and then we have another one during the holidays. So really preparing for those challenges to make sure that all your organic marketing is keeping up to those things.
For sure. So I guess like I know many people in this space have trouble sometimes with staffing. So how have you guys been able to get like the right staff to work with your clients?
Yeah, so I mean, it can be challenging. I would say we haven't had really the need of a recruiting aspect, but we're also small. We only service up to 30 to 40 clients. So,
Okay, gotcha.
on our scale, we're looking at 15 to 20 employees. Me, myself, I'm very hands-on. And so what we do is we like to duplicate our leaders. So if we find a leader, we try to make them hybrid. So really for one position, you're getting 1.5 or 2. And then communication and community, being plugged in to where when there is a job opportunity, and I'm going to say this is we might look at a recruiter down the road, not sure, but as of today, it hasn't been that intense where we just throw something on Indeed, put it on our social media platforms, the word is spread, and we've had really good success with that.
Awesome. So obviously now in 2024, many companies are looking for ways to use things like AI. So do you guys use AI in your business? And if not, like where do you think AI can maybe help you guys out?
Yeah, I would say we're not per se using it like internal. I know all the individuals here, like if they're putting some documentation together and it's easy for them, with the chat box or something like that, it's easy for them to go into that. I will say based off the components, maybe AI is designed when we start talking about like our CRM and all those type of things. But for right now, like we're not fully dependent on that, although we know we have to shift into that direction eventually.
For sure. So, what would you say like is your top priority for the business in the next few months?
One, to become sustainable from the business aspect, but the first would be to make sure that we're doing a proper service to the clients that put their confidence and trust in us and on the recovery journey. The business is the business. It is what it is, but it's just one of these is we don't want to look for profit in the financial sector before we're trying to get these people to profit into their souls. Like we want them to have successful lives. We want them to go back to their communities and their families. And so that's really what we're trying to do. So when I say to make the program sustainable, I'm talking on all the functions that we have in there. And the main thing is making sure that we provide the services that we say we do and seeing the outcomes and the results.
For sure. So, what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you got into this industry?
How much you're going to need grace on a daily basis. And I say that I wouldn't change what I do for a moment. There's just some days when you're, helping people overcome things. There's a lot of belief systems that you have to kind of channel through. Everyone comes from different lifestyles and backgrounds. So one of the things I wish I would have known is that as much as I wanted my life to change after, 15, 19 years of craziness, not everyone is there. Some people want to have step. And so I think just preparing it into the beginning stages for me was rough, that I wanted it so much for individuals that I realized I wanted it more than sometimes they did. So just learning, and that's why I went and got educated to learn more of the personalities and behaviors that you're dealing with on a basis, and one, to just be a better provider, in the help that they're looking for.
For sure. So, if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for the business?
We definitely will be sustainable, and we would start looking at expansion. Once you know that a model works from the healing and therapeutic operations point, and obviously the business is sustainable and that works, then we start looking at within the year, running a lot of data throughout the year from day one. Even pre-launch, we've been running data and seeing what really is the next step of value that makes the most sense. We're not putting the horse before the cart type of thing, or the cart before the horse. So looking at what that expansion looks like, but we would like to expand into a detox residential inpatient facility within the next year. Yeah.
That's exciting, and we're rooting for you guys. So, if somebody watching this wanted to reach out, do you mind sharing your website or social media? I guess best ways to get in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is https at trueaddictionbh.org. And you can reach us on all of our social media, Instagram, which is trueaddictionbh. And you can also call our landline. Let me get that number for you. It's going to be 615, and it directly calls to our missions team, 388. One second, let me pull it up. And really, if people just go to our website, they have the ability to really look us up and look at our numbers. We have several outlets for them to get a hold of us. That calls our admissions hotline, but that landline is going to be 615-338-6235.
Awesome. Well, Benjamin, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me.
Of course. Thank you. All right. Bye.
I take care.